Hi, this is a little video that I put together about viruses. This is a requested mini lesson by a student. I'll talk a little bit about my background. We'll look at some virus classification, and then you will have a turn to research any of the resources that are in the file. So I first got really excited about viruses when the book The Hot Zone came out. It's all about Ebola and how there was an Ebola outbreak in the United States from some monkeys that were brought over for research purposes. So in the slideshow, you can watch this trailer. It shows you a little bit about the video, and there's an image of the book if you're interested in reading it. It's really fascinating because it's written like a fiction because you can't believe that it actually happened, but it's totally truthful. When I first graduated college, I worked in a rabies lab at Kansas State University. And so, what happens is rabies is easily spread in dogs, raccoons, skunks, bats, possums, foxes, cats. So we would get animals that had been killed to test their brain material to see if rabies was present in their brain material. We also did studies of vaccines to study their efficacy. And when we look at samples to see if they have rabies, like the brain tissues, if you see here on the left these green glowing things, this is the fluorescent antigens that we use to see if the rabies virus is present. And if the rabies virus is not present, then you'll see what's on the right, which is black, no glowing. And the last picture is what the rabies virus actually looks like. It looks like little bullets, kind of. It's really like little bullets that attack your brain. Then we moved to Colorado, and I worked at the University of Colorado Hospital Virus Lab. And these are just some of the things that we would test for. We would test for herpes, simplex 1 and 2. One attacks the mouth, 2 attacks the genitals. So again, you see like normal cells, and then you can see the virus that is cells attacked by the virus that glow green. CMV is another virus that we would test for, cytomegalovirus. It's like a cold virus, but that a lot of kids get when they're young. The problem is if you have never been exposed to CMV and you are a pregnant woman, your child can be born deaf. So that's the danger with CMV. Norovirus is a stomach virus. Same with rotavirus. Rotavirus often attacks younger children. Norovirus, anyone, especially older people, like adults. Norovirus spreads like crazy on cruise ships. It's an intestinal virus. So a lot of times, if you say you have the flu and you're vomiting and have diarrhea, you actually have norovirus. C. diff, bacteria. This is a bacteria that's like normally in our body, but when there's an imbalance, like because of antibiotics, this bacteria can overgrow, and that causes a lot of diarrhea. And then we have viruses like RSV, which is a really nasty cold virus in children, influenza that we get our flu shots for. That's the actual influenza that's the flu shot for. And then HIV, we would test the levels of HIV virus present in people's blood to see if their antivirals were effective or not. The lower the level, the more effective the antivirals were. And so we actually in 8th grade get to use a mini PCR and see how they work this January, February. And you get to design experiments that might be taken up into space shuttle, or they're using a mini PCR in space to test your ideas. And working as a scientist was really amazing. I learned a lot of really cool things. I was not in the research field. I was just in patient testing field. And I stopped working as a scientist because there's a lack of human interaction. I prefer being around lots of different people. I had a chance to present to high school students, and I had so much fun, I decided to become a teacher because I spent all my day like testing in a lab, testing our pipettes to make sure they were accurate, looking in microscopes. And I like to be around people. So now it's your turn to research some viruses. Continue with this slideshow and then go into the other resources.